Battleline podcast, guys. Today's show is sponsored by Patch Ops, which is an officially licensed partner company of Chris Baranto, KPI LLC, and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals. The quality of their products will blow you away. So do us a favor and go follow Patch Ops on Facebook and Twitter, Patch Operations on Instagram. Before I give you guys the promo code, man, they're putting out awesome stuff, including the Switches On Motherfucker sticker patch. I
Yeah.
think is coming soon.
Yep. That's awesome. Awesome. And they were yeah, we'll throw some pictures up. I've got them on all my gun bags now. They do. They make the best patches out there. Just the quality. You can grab them. Just you can pick them up and just feel the quality of them. You want stuff that's going to hold up. You want stuff that's going to be able to go on your gun for guys like me. Go on your gun bags. Those things get thrown around in the cars. They get thrown around the back of the trucks. They get thrown around at the range. And when that happens, half the time they get torn or you lose them. And they're stay on their bags. The Velcro is fantastic, and again, they're just well made. So they look brand new. And I'll throw some pictures up online. Got the 14th hour patch, the Switches On motherfucker, of course, the Battleline tactical patch, and then the Battleline combatives patch. And yeah, they all look brand new, and I've had them in my bags. Since we started with them? What was that? It's got to be since I started with them before the podcast, so that's about
Sure.
6 months ago. Yeah, so yeah, great stuff, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, Tim is the man. And beyond the patches related to what we do, there's also the Molon LeBay patches, the
Yep.
Marine Corps patches. And yeah, Patch Ops is a family owned and operated company by Marine veteran Tim Hickey and his wife, Michelle. Tim actually served in the same infantry unit as TIG, as we mentioned on the episode with TIG, which is 3-7. And their company focuses on supplying the highest quality morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas from concept to reality, and they'll create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Our friend Audacious Andy did that with the Tonto Tribe patch. Love that one. And they'll create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd. So please go check them out at patchops.com. Grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today. Use code Battleline for 15% off your next order on patchops.com. Patch Ops, morale patches designed for the hardcore. Love what they're doing. And of course, when Tim heard that we were having Ted Nugent on, he was like, I'm on board. And Tim has been just such a great friend of the show, man. Great guy. And finally talked to him on the phone as well, and really supports what we've been doing.
Yeah, he's a veteran. Veteran supports veterans. I think that tie-in with TIG helps a bunch. But when it comes right down to it, you're right. Just saying what you said. He's just a good dude. He has integrity. He has honor. He really represents the values that you have in the military, and he's passed them on. And he's carried them on into his life outside the military. A lot of military guys forget to do that, and he hasn't. And it shows not only just within him and his wife's personality, his business ethics, but also his product. And like I said, it always resonates down to how good's the product. And when you have a lot of integrity, and you take a lot of pride in your work and pride in your family life, pride in your time as a veteran, it does. It translates 90% of the time, not every time, but 90% of the time it translates to the quality of your workmanship. And he's taking that next level. You guys can take an example. We should have him on a show at one of the times as just a guest, and because he's a good mentor for those that are getting out of the military, how to succeed once you're out in the business world.
I'm all for it, man. May, as you know, we got stacked up, but for June, that would be cool. So yeah, check them out, and our listeners are really enjoying their stuff. I know Georgia posted some stuff and is really enjoying the quality of those patches. Also on board with us now every other episode, because we're doing 2 a week. So excited to be doing this. Fort Scott Munitions. They're a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. Hunters like Ted Nugent.
Yes, and he is a great hunter. Everything I'll let him talk about that. Man,
Yeah,
that man is a
I had
fantastic
to
hunter.
throw it in there though, because
Oh
when I think
wow,
hunters, I think Ted Nugent.
he
So
is. He's top notch. Yep.
with the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through FortScottMunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. I know you're fresh off your most recent Battleline
Yeah.
Tactical course,
Yeah.
and first in months, brushing off the cobwebs and all that, and using Fort Scott munitions.
Yeah, it did top notch again. No problems with it. It stuff shoots. It shoots consistent and it loads easy. And out there, and we'll throw some pictures on the Battleline Tactical page, and we'll pull some over the podcast page, of course. But the Battleline Tactical page, and yeah, using that 300 blackout in my tunnels toolbox, teaching carbine and pistol, and doing a little room clearing basics. It was tremendous. Actually, it was a tremendous course too. But the ammunition worked like a charm, like it always does. So no complaints here. If you want to use ammunition, get good ammunition. Get Fort Scott, and you can also buy it in bulk now, so you can pay it just for range prices, because ammo can get expensive and it's hard to come by now. So check out Fort Scott when you're going to go out there and shoot. Especially if you're going to the range, just get that bulk ammo and get out there and shoot a little bit. And it's so therapeutic too, just to be on the range, to be outside again.
100%. So yeah, once again, FortScottMunitions.com. Promo code Battleline. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that course. So we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But Ted Nugent coming on. Let's hit it.
On the microphones, pure and uncensored American straight talk. Never quit. You're locked and loaded with Chris Peranto and Ian Scotto. This is the Battleline Podcast.
Which is on, motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Switch is on. Ted Nugent, I think it is safe to say, without a doubt, our biggest guest yet. I'm pumped. This is going to be awesome.
I'm glad because it seems like we're always, hey, biggest guest. So that's to me, that's a great thing, because that means that we're getting people, and we're getting personalities that people want to hear it. And guys like myself, I want to hear Ted Nugent. I grew up on Ted Nugent. That man is OG. He's original gangster. That's where the bad boy started, right there with Ted Nugent. And who doesn't? If you don't know what cat scratch fever is, and I'm not, as Ian can tell you, I am not always well versed in everything in music. I love music.
No, but you know your stuff.
But I know myself. I just don't know who's alive and who's dead. That's my problem. And no offense to anybody out there. Sorry if I offended anybody out there. No, I'm not. But again, Ted Nugent, it's amazing. And I grew up on his music, and then also, being a 2A supporter as I am. Of course, he is an immense 2A supporter. Just around guns, him and I have passion for guns, and he's a tremendous hunter, like we talked about, and not just guns, but also tremendous bow hunter. And he is a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. But he's also, if you look at it, and most responsible hunters they're really huge conservationists too, because there is a population. You have to do some population control, because that's part of our fault too, brother. I mean, because of expansion, and we talked about a little bit about urbanization and moving out and getting in, we've destroyed some of the natural predators for some of the grass eaters out there.
Yeah.
We have to handle that. That's deer is a perfect example of that. That's why you have deer season. And he is a responsible hunter, and he's a responsible gun hunter, and he people can learn from him as far as the two-way people can learn from him as far as how to be a responsible gun owner. So yeah, I'm excited to have him on, and then also I decided just to talk to him about his past music and his. I wanted to hear about the debauchery a little bit if he was willing to talk about it. So
Yeah,
I'm
maybe we'll
excited.
get into that.
I'm excited. I'm gonna let you roll that route though. You
All right,
segue into that.
I will. I'll make a note of that.
Yeah,
I'll make a
awesome.
note. I'll literally make a note right now that we got to hit
Per-
a little debauchery.
Little debauchery when he was on his own before he got with Damn Yankees, and then the debauchery. I bet that was crazy. Are you kidding me? On Damn Yankees, again, that's a power band, man, right there. That's an all-star group. I can't even imagine. Motley Crue. I don't know. I don't know. If Nikki Sixx comes on, we'll have to ask him if there's a comparison between the two.
You know, it's funny though when you were saying, "Oh, we've said biggest guest before." By far, I think. I
No,
don't
he
think
is.
we've
No, he
had
is. No, he
anyone
is. It's honestly, it's a testament to you, dude, because you're continually getting better. I mean, every time we had Andre, which is great, UFC, but then you get Alex Jones on, which some people like him, some people don't, but he's still.
No, but that's all. That's all
still,
you. And I give credit to you on this one too, man. If it was the Ian Scotto podcast, he probably wouldn't come on. He knows you. He respects the guys who were there in Benghazi, and so I'm game. I'll come on. So no, I think all credit is to you, man. No, of course,
thanks.
man.
Thanks.
So I want to definitely hit this email that I just opened today, because this is, I will say, the best email that we've gotten. No offense to any other people who've emailed, but this really blew me away. So this is from Chuck in Kansas. Sent, and once again, if you guys want to send emails to battlelinepodcast@gmail.com. Chris and Ian wanted to drop you guys a line and thank you for the podcast. I've been listening since the beginning, and it's been a pleasure not only listening to your stories, Chris, not just the ones people know you for, and also your guests. I wanted to share a little story with you guys to show how much you guys have motivated me. About 8 months ago, I was 325 pounds, and as my son started looking at the next couple of summers for Boy Scouts, he wanted to do some of what they call high adventure stuff. It's basically a week and a half to 2 week. I guess a week and a half to 2 weeks, sorry, out in the wilderness. Whatever you have on you is all you have kind of deal. Okay. Sorry, I read that a little weird, though. I'll read that again. So it's basically a week and a half to 2 weeks out in the wilderness. Whatever you have on you is all you have kind of deal. All right. I knew there was no way I'd be able to do this with him, so I decided it was time to get my butt back into shape. So I set up a plan for myself and started hitting the gym and tracking what I ate. I was doing good and dropping the weight and getting into better and better shape. Then the Chinese virus hit and the gym closed, so I had to find something else. I turned to running, which is something I've never been good at. I'm built like a football lineman. I usually listen to your podcast while I'm running and use the stories as motivation to keep pushing myself. I tell myself I've had it easy compared to what you guys have gone through, and there's no reason I can't do this. Today I decided to see if I could hit the 4-mile mark. About 3 miles in, and I'm dog tired listening to your interview with James Smokey West, and decided to use your catchphrase, Chris, to get me in my last mile. I told myself, the switch is on, motherfucker. I'm going to run this last mile. LOL. Anyway, I did it, and I'm down to 245 pounds as of today, with a goal of at least another 45 by the end of the year. Keep up the amazing work and the awesome guests. It's truly motivational to many of us, even those who have never served. I can't wait until you're in Kansas next so I can take one of your courses. I missed the last one. Thanks. That's from Chuck Haynes in Newton, Kansas.
Oh, wow, that's amazing, and that's just getting off your butt, and that's as simple as that. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I didn't when I'm out training. I don't when I'm out PTing, because you have to push yourself, and it sucks, and especially it sucks to get back into it. That's why once you got it started, you want to maintain, because when you have to restart, or if you're just getting into it, yeah, man, those first month, that's when people usually quit. You see and you probably saw it at the gym this year too, Ian. You know, the January 1st, the New Year's resolutions. You know, how long does that usually last? About a month and a half, and then the gym bag dies down because people quit. People are like, this sucks. Well, it does. It's supposed to suck. You're supposed to be. You're ripping like an onion. You're tearing off layers to get down to where you want to be, and having that intestinal fortitude, that mental toughness, which of course this gentleman is talking about, because I turn on the podcast and I finish the last mile. That is all mental. Your body can, but your body can go. Your body can go and go and go. It's your mind that shuts off. And that's what they do with you when you go to either Buds or Ranger School, or you're going through Ranger Indoc, or just being a Ranger or a SEAL, or going into the Raiders, MARSOC. They want to push you, and they're going to physically push you. Of course, it's hard, but the guys that quit, the ones that quit, aren't the ones that can't do it physically. Their brains quit. They're like, I give up. Brain gives up. And the guys that hang out there are the ones that can mentally push themselves past that physical barrier, or that mental barrier, to continue to tap into that other physical strength that you still have. Good example. This perfect example. And Leroy may hate me for this. That's fine. But Leroy Petrie, I love him to death. Leroy, he's a Medal of Honor winner. Leroy and I were in basic training together. Honestly, my basic training class, the second time I went through, it was like a freaking all-star of future stars in the military. It was amazing. And you look back on it now and go, man, we had some pipe hitters in that second basic training class. Well, Leroy was in there, and Leroy wasn't, when he first got, I still remember, because I wasn't physically good shape the second time I went into basic training, because I was ready. I knew it was coming, because I'd already been through basic training once, and it was harder the first time I went in. So when I came through the second time, I was prepped. I was already ready. I could outdo the drill sergeants. But I saw how kind of I was the first time in a guy like Leroy or other guys there, and they weren't physically fit. They didn't have that toughness, that mental toughness yet. But as the basic training went on, you could just see in Leroy, he wasn't blessed with the most physical attributes that guys were. He wasn't, but he never would give up. You could beat that dude up, he would still get up and be like, "Give me some more." And that resonated down the road. You saw when he Medal of Honor winner, he blew his hand off, kept fighting. I mean, that's Leroy.
It's crazy.
It took him 2 years to get to Ranger School. When we got to Ranger Battalion, we were in the same company at Ranger Battalion too. I was just in 3rd platoon, he was in 1st platoon. And Leroy, forgive me if you were in 2nd platoon. I can't remember. I think it was 1st. You were in Lieutenant Taylor's platoon, and it was Sergeant First Class Thesis platoon. But Leroy, again, you have 2 years at Ranger Battalion to get to Ranger School. If you don't, you get kicked out. And his squad leaders didn't want to send him because they just didn't feel he was physically ready to go. And to be a private for 2 years at Ranger Battalion, basically to be hazed for 2 years, is wow. That is, guys quit. They just like, fuck this, I'm out. And he sucked it up and did it for 2 years. Got to Ranger School, got his tab, which we didn't think was going to happen. And the rest is history. He came back, and he's a superhero now. I mean, the dude is. And Sergeant Petrie is really a guy I look up to. And even though I served with him, because he resonated that. And what this gentleman is saying here is that same thing. You tapped in to that mental toughness to get to that next mile. Okay, you've got 4 miles now. Now put it to 5. And you're going to hit that 4-mile mark, buddy. And you're going to be like, God, this sucks. Find some way mentally to get through it and push to that next mile, which is mile 5. And if it's the Battleline podcast, which it is, God bless you, man. I hope it is. I hope it is. But that's for all y'all out there. You're going to hit that wall to quit. And the way you don't is you just have to find a way to mentally say, okay, I'm going to take one more step. I'm going to go a little bit farther. Don't overdo it, because that's when people quit. They'll go, yes. I hit mile 4. Yeah. You tell them as a trainer, I know you do, because trainers are supposed to do this. You hit mile 4, don't say, I got to run another 4 miles. No, I got to go just another mile. Now,
no, I've seen those people, because I think, the people who push it too hard, especially if there's not a reason to, you're going to, basically mentally, you're going to hate exercise. You're going to be like, this is the worst thing in the world. I'm done. I'm tapping out. So you definitely have to gradually make that change, which is exactly what this guy is doing.
He did. And it was outstanding. And he's finding a way, and you're unlocking that next little level. I was thinking of leveling up, because I guess I played Atari too much, Zelda and all that. But leveling up, you leveled up. All right. And now you got to get to level 5, but take your time and do it when you're ready. When you train, and that's why I tell people when they train, and I do the same way, train just where you're not feeling terrible every day, but you have to have 1 day a week, at least 1 day a week, especially as a runner. You want to do this 1 day a week where you get out, you're uncomfortable. You have to make it hard. You don't have to do it every day, but at least 1 day a week where you are, oh my gosh, this sucks. This is terrible. I do that. I do mile repeats. So I'll sprint a mile and then I'll jog a mile. Mile repeats are hard. but you get that little jog and you get that little break in between. Then you push yourself till you're about ready to pass out. And then you get that little break in between. And you'd be surprised. If you do mile repeats, you do 3 of them, 3 hard miles where you're doing revolutions in between. Well, you get that little mile in between that's a break. By the end of the day, you've done 6 miles. And really, you don't feel like it because, because you've got that little rest mile in between. But that's my hard days. I'll do mile repeats or I'll run high hills, 400-meter hills. But I only do that once a week. So that's another way how I look forward to working out is that I'm not, like Ian said, I'm not killing myself every day because I won't want to work out anymore like this. And if you're training for something that's different, you do have to push it a little bit harder. But
yeah, people doing the Ironman and all that. Oh my God! But it's by the way, it's so crazy because I have like my friend Brittany does the Ironman. She just actually just had a daughter. But if you saw her, you'd think there's no way this girl does the Ironman, but she does, which I could never do. I don't know about you. My swimming is horrendous. But between the bike ride, the full marathon, I mean, that is intense. That is killing yourself, and that's motivation.
That is motivation. I don't like to swim. I can swim. Actually, I was on the scout swimmer team at Ranger Battalion, which I don't know why, because I hated swimming.
But you like to challenge yourself.
I did, and I didn't have a choice because I was most of the guys with the highest PT scores, actually the highest physical test scores at Ranger Battalion, you're always going to be on the water team because you have to be able to run as well. So I sucked. I had to do it. I was a good runner. So I didn't have a choice. I'd rather be on another one. But that thing is that, Ironman, I could do it. I know I could. I could push myself through it. I'm not being arrogant. I didn't say I could finish first.
You are an Army Ranger.
I should do it. But if I'm going to do something too, I want it to be fun. And swimming to me, I think from Ranger Battalion and doing the scout swimmer, doing the top swims, like some guys love to swim. I don't enjoy it. So I don't want to do an Ironman because I don't enjoy it. But I don't know, maybe down the line, I wouldn't mind. You know what would be cool? I was always thinking about doing a Forrest Gump and running from one coast to the other and just doing it like for a foundation. It would take me a while. That's something that would be interesting.
I think like Navy SEAL David Goggins, he does those 100-mile
ultra marathons. Those would be that would be but more cool with me is like the eco challenges, the stuff you're getting out. I love running trails. I can run trails forever. I don't know why, but hitting the pavement and going straight down a straight road, that's a mental game. And it sucks for me. I could do it. I hate it. But when I get on a trail and I start running in trails, I can just go. I think that's maybe that's the Navajo Indian in me. I just go. I think it also is because of different elevations and you're working different muscles going up and down. Because you're fatiguing all your muscles, not just one set. Where when you're hitting pavement on a straight road, you really are just fatiguing a certain set of muscles. But it's also the scenery. So, but yeah, bro, getting back to this gentleman's email, that means more to me than anything because you are improving your life and you're doing it on your own. Thank you for allowing me and Ian to help you with that. But that's all you, bro. That's awesome. 100%. That's you taking the bull by the horns. Like who's the guy on dodgeball?
I haven't seen it in so long. I know what you're talking.
No, I can't remember. But literally taking the bull by the horns. Yeah, but that really happened. Yeah, he's taking the bull by the horns and you're tearing it up. So keep doing it, and you're doing it for your family, and you're doing it for your son. And that is awesome, dude. If that is a motivating story for me. So congratulations and keep it up, man. And just continue to just improve. Also, though, and Ian will tell you the same thing, you're making probably massive improvements right now because you're just starting. There'll be a time where you're going to plateau. You will. You're just going to I'm not making any more improvements. So that's because it's getting harder to make those improvements because now you're getting in great shape. Just keep doing the little improvements. Improvements may not be as gargantuan as they are now, but you still continue to push on and still improve. So some guys will quit at that point. I don't know if you've seen that at your gym or not, Ian, but people will quit when they get to that pinnacle and then their improvements, they're just not as visible as they once were. Like, well, I reached the peak. No, you just gotta you just gotta work a little harder. But it says a good thing because you've actually got to a point where you are in really good shape and your body's saying, okay, now you have to work a little bit harder to get to that little next level. But keep it up. man. Keep it up.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
that email was inspiring to me.
Yeah.
When you talk about getting back into it, I fell off. I'll be honest. It's the same thing we said with Christoph. Like, it happens. You
Yeah.
do fall off, and this whole COVID-19 thing in New York, it has completely taken me off my game. And this morning I did go for a run, trying to get back into things, trying to eat good, all of that. But I'm not motivated 100% of the time. I don't think anyone is.
Oh, dude.
When I hear other people who are motivated by your stories, that motivates me as well.
Yeah.
I do want to hear all about the course in Oklahoma, but more importantly, I want to make sure we get to Ted Nugent.
Oh, yeah.
So
What do
we'll
we got?
get to
5
that in a
minutes?
little bit. Yeah, no. So we'll hear all about your last course after we talk to Ted. But before we do, Fort Scott Munitions, as we just mentioned, is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring they receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com, FortScottmunitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order, only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Paranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. And after our interview with Ted, we'll hear a little bit more about that last Battleline Tactical course.
Sure.
And also, this show today is sponsored by our friends at patchops.com, which is an officially licensed partner of Chris Paranto, KPI LLC, Chris's company, and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals. The quality of their products, it's going to blow you away, guys. So do us a favor and go follow Patch Ops on Facebook and Twitter, Patch Operations on Instagram. And when you get your order, you're going to love those edible crayons. Those are great. That Tim throws in there. Patch Ops is family owned and operated by Marine veteran Tim Hickey and his wife, Michelle. Tim actually served in the same infantry unit as TIG 37, and their company focuses on supplying the highest quality morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas from concept to reality, and they'll create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd, so please check them out at patchops.com. Grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today. Use code Battleline for 15% off your next order on patchops.com. Patchops, morale patches designed for the hardcore. When I heard Ted Nugent was coming on, I said, Tim is going to love this. And he's on board and has been supporting us, and we love what they do.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Good stuff on both. I know I could go on forever on both companies, but I won't because I already did at the beginning of the show. So, yeah, check them out, guys. Yeah, check out Patch Ops. Check out Fort Scott Munitions. And great quality, both products. And they take a lot of pride in their work.
All right, let me see if Ted is ready to go, and if he is, we'll add him to the call. Let's see here. Ted Nugent, add. This is gonna be great, man.
Yeah.
Yowza, you telling me this actually?
That is a voice that you cannot mistake. This is awesome. And there you are. We were just doing audio, but
City Madman knows how to work high-tech gear in 20.
I don't need that shit. Just give me a damn rotary dial-up phone. Gosh, I hate all this damn technology.
I'm kind of limited to sharp-edged instruments, oars, crowbars, and jackhammers. But today, I've actually got on Skype. Say hallelujah, gentlemen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Skype, isn't that like one? That's like one of the original things we did. So we're even patting ourselves on the back for Skype, but that Skype's been around since MySpace. And I even know what MySpace is. That was 40 years, 20 years ago. I still can't work this shit. I'm
So
terrible.
tell me we're on already, because this is the best part. I hope you're already on, because
Oh yeah, we're
opening
recording.
salutation always makes the best. It's like a campfire, and I just
It's true. No, we're recording right now, so I will let the people know. Of course, I mean Ted Nugent, a man who needs no introduction. The Nuge,
Yes.
and people know him as, Chris was saying before, Damn Yankees, a million other projects, tednugent.com. And I guess the first thing to get into is you had a big U.S. summer tour planned.
Yeah.
And COVID-19 has basically changed everything. And I even heard in a recent interview you were saying it's unlikely you'll ever tour outside the U.S. again.
Well, Ian and Chris, number one, thanks for having me on. You don't just have old Uncle Ted on your podcast here. When my pretty little lips start moving, this is not just presumptions or guesswork by a goofy guitar player. I represent the heart and soul pulse of shit for America. So I salute you guys for providing the security and the safety and the freedom to wallow in every day. You know how I genuflect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I feel you.
God bless you, man.
Bro, you've always been respectful to myself. I remember first time me and Oz and Tig met you together, and since then, Tig and I still do stuff together. Oz kind of off on his own, but you were immense respect for us. And I remember he walked up and you didn't even you didn't bat an eye. It was like he was signing books, and mid break it was like SHOT Show 5 years ago, and he goes, "What's up, Tano?" Like, hey, holy fuck, Ted knows my name. I must have made it. This is awesome.
Well,
so that's awesome.
You can tell I didn't invent piss and vinegar, but I perfected it. I perfected it about 1954. No, I got to tell you guys, there are dynamics occurring and raging right now that are truly unprecedented in my 71 and a half years. But I got to celebrate with you guys that I've always been a rebel with a cause. I discovered rugged individualism. Well, I actually didn't discover it. My dad shoved it up my ass. my dad was a U.S. Army cavalry drill sergeant, and he brought it to the dinner table every night. God bless the great man. So that discipline taught me about the Boy Scout battle cry of being prepared. And I remember my first ice storm and the blizzards in Michigan, especially at deer camp, where you were on your own, pal, and you learned early on to carry a lighter, some toilet paper, and some fire starter, extra ammo. And so I've never passed up food, ammo, or water. And so when this struck, we certainly are aware of the heartbreak and the hardships that our fellow Americans and people around the world are experiencing right now. But my beautiful wife, Shemaine, and I, on our Spirit Wild Ranch here in Central Texas, we have not altered our daily routine one spit. We have always... I still shake hands when I go to the feed mill, and I still hang out with cops and teachers and hardware store owners and military heroes and just working hard, playing hard American shit kickers. And I'm aware that there is a pandemic. I'm aware that there is a virus, but I'm also more aware that the government are lying motherfuckers, and that the media are subhuman, lying, dishonest, manipulative, treasonous punks. And so we go by logic, common sense, and by almost 72 years radar that's been clean and sober, and I actually pick up accurate information and retain it. So yes, these are hard times, and yes, I will cry tears of blood, because I don't think my tour in 2020 is going to happen. And I love my music. I love Jason Hartless on drums and Greg on bass guitar, my crew, my guitar tone. Oh my God, my guitar tone! The world needs my guitar tone now more. So even though I will continue to rock out like an animal possessed all summer with my buddies here in Texas, if the tour doesn't happen, I feel terrible about it, but I can improvise, adapt, and overcome, and 2021 will be an unleashing like the world has never seen, because my music is timeless, my music is exciting, it's ferocious, it's stimulating, it is the soundtrack for freedom and shit kicker America, so I'm going to be just fine, thank you.
And that's, Ian, what did he just say? What have we said from all the veterans that have come on to 2021? is going to be kicking ass. So what is Ted doing? Uncle Ted again is getting ready. He's not crying about what's going on. He's getting off his knees. He's not doing anything. So, oh, this sucks. It's terrible. He's like, all right, I'm getting myself ready because when this stupid shit ends, I'm going to get out there and just take off. I got my foot on that gas pedal. It's revving. I'm going to shift it into drive when we hit 2021, and I'm going to tear it up. That's the mentality, and that's what people don't have. Everybody's just worried about themselves instead of just getting up and just living. Live your fucking life. Live. Whatever happens, deal with it, but continue to live. And that's what you're saying. And that's what
Ian
veterans
and Tyler,
have.
I got to tell you, yes, you've identified my battle cry for rugged individualism and self-sufficiency. Whoa, is self-sufficiency racist or homophobic?
I'm sure
I take care of myself and I take care of my family, but I got to tell you, my band, my crew, my sons and my daughters, my grandkids, my brother, my sister, everybody I know, my neighbors here in Texas, the great Sheriff Parnell McNamara and all the deputies. I got to tell you, this isn't a weird Ted Nugent self-sufficiency thing. It's alive and well, most obviously in the lifestyle of the hunting, fishing, trapping, farming, ranching community, which is huge. We're talking tens of millions of families, and none of them are scrambling for meat. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So we take care of ourselves, and it's about learning lessons in life that if you've been through a Michigan blizzard in 1952, you prepare because there's going to be another one. What did you need that blizzard? You make sure that you always have those basic ingredients, and that includes toilet paper and food and clothing and water and ammo and firepower. And like on my property, when I graduated from high school, I knew I had to have property with water. And remember, a lot of people go, well, you're a rich rock star. You can do this.
Shut the fuck up.
I didn't have a pot to piss in 1968, but when I saved my money, I literally have over 1,200 acres of pristine wildlife habitat because I didn't buy cocaine. And so I've always had unlimited water, unlimited fish in the water, unlimited venison and squirrel and rabbit and turkey and pheasant and grouse and doves. I've always had unlimited food everywhere around me. We've almost every year had a garden. We plant trees every spring as a family ritual. So I'm cocked, locked, and ready to rock the Glock dock in spite of people.
I love it, man. You know what I was going to ask you about? When you did that super group with Scott Ian and Sebastian Bach, there was a lot of, I think, tension between your rugged individualism, your lifestyle, and their lifestyle. What was it like being on that show?
Well, first of all, they were incredibly talented and hardworking guys. I made friends with all of them. Unfortunately, old Sebastian Bach has kind of slipped off the logic shelf. He really is angry at me because I thought he would be better if he was clean and sober. That's the only friction that existed. And when you're high as often as some people are, you just don't have any common sense anymore. So I made great friends with all those guys. They were, and beyond the incredible musical talents that they all possess, including Sebastian, he's just an incredible, soulful, a gifted vocalist and songwriter and performer to some degree. When you're stoned, you kind of stumble like a dirtbag up there. But beyond all those accolades I give all those guys, is the salute to their work ethic. Yeah, there was funny rock and roll silliness that went on because that makes for entertaining television. But they all really put their hearts and souls. They love the music. They believe in the music. My last record title and the song title was "The Music Made Me Do It." Those are the caliber of musicians that I have been honored to collaborate with since 1958 in Detroit, before my 10th birthday. And I was on the phone with Johnny Banagic yesterday, the original drummer for Mitch Ryder. I had dinner with Mitch Ryder here recently. I just did the top-rated Sammy Hagar rock and roll road trip. And if you guys didn't see it, you gotta witness it. So it was a great experience, and I thought we made some killer musical moments. But I think oftentimes, especially in the case of Sebastian, and again, I don't mean to be critical of him, but I'm being lovingly critiquing. And that is, he is so gifted, and all those guys are, And in fact, quite honestly, every member of every band I've ever been surrounded by is just like the best musicians that ever walked the earth. But sometimes you get caught up in the absolute bullshit of being a rock star.
Yeah.
I think rock stars are stupid. I think if you want to be a rock star, you're probably not going to be as musical as you should or could be. So that tends to interfere with it once in a while.
Well, and that's that you say that when you want to be top of your game with anything, you got to be clean and sober. You've got to have that sense. You lose that common sense. You lose that next level that you can get to. And I can't even imagine what it is to be like a rock star. I want you to tell me some of your debauchery stories, if you can, without getting into trouble. Maybe we talk about it a little bit, because I like, but I do, as the vet bro community got bigger, and I don't like to be part of that, but there's a little bit of that. I did experience a little bit of just, you lose touch yourself. You start to believe your own bullshit. And I think guys like myself, or Tim Kennedy, or Rob O'Neill, and I don't want to point, I'm just saying, possibly you start to believe a little bit of that hype you have. And I'm not built for that. And I lost myself, and I got into alcohol, and I tried to kill myself 3 times, and just being stupid because I wasn't on the top of my game, and that was the only way I could deal with it, was alcohol and a few drugs here or there. So by you saying that, it just reinforces our show again. What we tell people: hey, you gotta keep your head right. You can't go down that substance path, or you're not gonna be as best person you can be. But you're also, man, other people around you are going to see it, and they're going to call you out on it, and that's cool, and that's nothing wrong with that. And brother, by you saying that, again, it just reinforces everything that, as a veteran community, we try to tell our buddies too. It's like, hey, dude, stay on the path, stay right. You're not going to be your best person. I'm not going to go in that room with you if you can't control that alcohol back at the team room, man, because you're not going to have my back when bullets start flying.
There is a heartbreaking vapor trail of ruined lives with this whole self-inflicted suicidal curse that people think getting stoned and drunk is a party. That's not. If there's drool, spittle, vomit, death involved, that ain't a
party.
I'll tell you what a party is for me. I've never met drugs, alcohol, tobacco, or fat pussy. That shit that shit will kill you. So I did not share any tales of debauchery because Mrs. Nugent. That's all I can say is I've been a bow hunter. I was raised.
You're a tremendous bow hunter. You're talented. Now I remember you used to be on TV all the time with that bow. I mean, that's amazing.
Well, that discipline that is the mystical flight of the arrow, getting close to the heretofore impenetrable range of creatures that God created to avoid guitar players with sharp sticks. That challenge and that discipline so wakes you up. Now, I'm not a military or law enforcement hero, but I was in Fallujah in 2004. I have conducted federal raids with the U.S. Marshals, the DEA, the FBI, and the Texas Rangers. I have kicked down doors of murderers and drug traffickers and child traffickers and just savage, subhuman mongrels. So I know the adrenaline. I don't do it often enough to qualify as an experienced warrior, but that situational awareness that determines whether you do provide venison or you have to buy chicken, it is an incredible lesson of attentiveness and capabilities that go far into a realm of again, awareness that if you don't have to kill dinner with a sharp stick, you haven't the faintest idea what I'm talking about. And that higher level of awareness fortified me growing up, that when the hippies started off, well, before the hippies, it was beatniks, started offering me dope and drool, puke, and I went, what the fuck are you doing? You don't know you have boogers coming out of your mouth and you're drooling all over yourself and you want me to participate in this? How does this sound? Fuck you. I got a deer to kill and I got a good looking girl to try to charm. I need all the awareness I can get. So it was simply pragmatic. It was simply utilitarian to get to my next deer stand and try to figure out how these animals function so I can ambush them and get some backstraps out of the deal, because
Yeah.
it is the supreme physics of spirituality. If ever there was a samurai moment, you guys know that when you're in a
Yeah.
firefight,
Yeah.
when you have to maneuver and avoid incoming. But the next level, not as samurai as that, but I got to tell you, I think it's pretty close. When I kicked down those doors here in Waco at 4 a.m. and held an MP5, screwed it into the ear of a convicted rapist, I think I might know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when you anticipate the travel, timing, place of a deer, and you got to be within 20, 30 yards of it, and they are designed by God not to let you within 20 or
30
30
feet of them. Yeah.
You take that to being a good husband, a good father, a good neighbor, a law enforcement. I've been a sheriff deputy since 1983. I'm still sworn to this day up in Lake County, Michigan. So I'm not your average guitar player beyond the jive-ass bullshit of celebrity. I have to function in a positive manner for my wife, my family, my children, my grandchildren, my neighbors, my band, my crew, and that level of samurai pursuit, it serves you well in every endeavor, from welding to carpentry to running a trap line to filleting a carp. I mean, that focus, that samurai focus, is alive and well in the lives of warriors, hunters, fishermen, and musicians who apply that higher level of awareness, spirituality to the musical communication that, again, in the damn Yankees, the damocracy, all my bands, I'm just a lucky son of a bitch that my dad taught me that discipline.
That's awesome, man. I
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
ask you about, you were saying with the latest album, The Music Made Me Do It, and your musical influences over the years. Something I've always thought about. I really think without question, and it's not to kiss your ass, you are one of the greatest guitar players ever out there. And I think you being an avid hunter, you being an avid NRA guy, you've kind of been taken off that list of top 10, top 20 guitarists. Does that bother you at all that you kind of don't get the respect you do for your music because Ted Nugent, the personality, has taken over, Ted Nugent, the amazing guitar player?
Well, I gotta tell you, I got a big shit-eating grin on my face.
I could hear it through the phone. I heard the teeth start to. I could see the teeth right there when the question was asked. I gotta hear this.
Because that is posed to me so often, and I gotta tell you, go to my Facebook or come to my concerts, or hear the unsolicited testimonials when Chris Campbell was killed trying to save Marcus Luttrell.
Yeah.
In his memorial, he wanted my song Fred Bear played. I have got thousands of unsolicited communications and testimonials from heroes of all the branches of the military and law enforcement, and families with terminally ill kids, what my music and my guitar licks mean to them. When they go into battle, they play Stranglehold. When the child is facing imminent death, this little 6 and 7 and 8-year-old kids, they reference my songs. Could the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or a top guitar list possibly compete with that? Here it is in a nutshell, gentlemen. My guitar licks are the best fucking guitar licks in the history of noise. My guitar solos can only be played by one human being, me. I am a stone cold, mystical, samurai, bad motherfucking guitar player, and anybody that doesn't get that can kiss my dead dog's left nut.
I love that. That's yeah. And so you have more of another story for that. When I was with the Ranger Battalion, we come out of the field, and I was in the 90s. And damn Yankees, you had already just been with them. They weren't a new group, but High Enough we throw some beer in there, and we clean our weapons, and we listen to High Enough. and that's what we would come in, and it would bring us down, but we still were having a good time. It was like you were in your feng shui moment in the team room, cleaning your saws and your M4s, and you got damn Yankees playing in the background, and you got a keg of beer, and you're just relaxing because you haven't taken a shower probably in the last 3 days. And so there's another one for you too. If that doesn't amount to anything from a Ranger battalion, I hope it does, because we respected you a bunch. We respect your music, and that's your music are part of that warrior mentality. It is the stuff you
I know that. God bless you for that, and to have examples of what you just shared with me, going all the way back to the Vietnam era, where these heroes come back from that horrific war, that ugly ass, power abusing, corrupt motherfucking war, and they were so distraught and hurt that their commander-in-chief was the biggest prick that ever lived, and that their rules of engagement benefited the Viet Cong. And they would come back and they would talk to me about Great White Buffalo and how that song saw them through the battles where they dragged their dead brothers out of the napalm. And I mean, I could tell you stories. So all I can say is that my confidence cup runneth over. I know my relationship with the greatest human beings in the world. So when Mike Moore criticizes me, I can almost die laughing.
That's hilarious. Like, who gives a fuck what the magazines tell, man? You've got respect from the community, and I think we could probably beat their asses. Any media personality, we could go knuckle up behind the shed if they want to discuss that with me. That's fine with me if we respect Ted Nugent or not.
That drives my quality of life every day. You know that it does, Conno. I expressed it to you the first time.
Yeah, you did.
Just listen to any interview of the tens of thousands of interviews that I've done, and I don't think I've ever failed to mention that freedom ain't free, and that I live the American dream to the best of my ability because there's a flag draped coffin that I owe that to. Case fucking closed.
That's it right there.
That's awesome, man.
Your dad, and I know your background just from me researching it and over the years, and just I followed your music, followed your career, especially being a Ranger.
And what a riot it's been, huh?
It has been freaking. I love it. I still with you, and I still can picture you on when the music videos were actually MTV actually did play music videos. They didn't do all this reality bullshit they got on TV now. But I still remember you and Tommy Shaw when that was one of the best videos, again, on that power ballad, on High Enough, and you shoulder to shoulder. That's like the iconic double guitar right there, shoulder to shoulder, sweaty as fuck, but you're still men, and you're still close to each other, just tearing it up in a power ballad with that guitar riffs. Oh, I still can see it right in my face. Oh, it's amazing.
Example, that Tommy and Jack and Michael, that damn Yankees music, boy, it was world class. It was such musical authority because we all came from the Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, all the soul brothers that taught us this defiant, authoritative, shit-kicking music, and we still cherish and we still pay homage to that every time we pick up our instruments. So that was a great chapter.
Well, I pay homage to your dad. Your dad, he mentored guys like myself, and then all the guys up to Vietnam as well. We even when I was on that rooftop where we knew nobody was coming because we had another great commander-in-chief that didn't give two shits about us. But I was thinking about, I was like, God, those Korean Rangers, they fucking sucked it up for months. The Vietnam Rangers, those guys were out there for months and weeks with nobody coming to help, and nobody gave a shit. I can go another hour. I don't give a shit. I can go another hour. And I would think about those guys. So your dad is, that's why I want to hear how it was growing up with a tough, and I'm saying this with all respect and even with a smile on my face, how was it growing up with a tough SOB? I mean, he was a World War II and a Korean vet and a Cav, which at that time, Cav was really getting to be a precursor of special operations. I mean, that was, you had the Rangers, you didn't have SF yet, yes, MOSS, but the cavalry units were high speed units, man. How was it growing up with that?
We fucking hated him.
That's what I knew that's what I was hoping to hear. I hated it.
I hated that motherfucker until I learned that love is ultimately discipline.
Yeah.
And a mushy-brained young person to think that they might have a clue about anything needed to have his, my dad would rip our heads off and shit down our neck.
Oh, well, you gotta have your dick stomped in the dirt every once in a while. It's got to happen.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, my brother Jeff is a very successful CEO in the pharmaceutical world. He was the CEO of Revlon and
Wow.
Johnson & Johnson. And my younger brother John, who I just lost, is just terrible.
I'm sorry.
Just a great five. Every time we say America is great, it's because of guys like my brother John, with a work ethic that Hercules would have adored. And we all, and my sister Kathy, who also, she has a wonderful mail order internet business up in the wilds of northern Michigan. We fucking hated him until we realized that he was guiding us up a path, a true north. Be the best that you can be. If you're going to do anything, you do it right, or I'll make you do it over again. We hated that until we finally realized, especially when I graduated from high school in '67. And before I get to that, going back to the discipline of archery and the discipline of gun handling and marksmanship and trigger squeeze and sight acquisition and breathing and that samurai oneness with your physics and your connection with that rifle, that pistol, that shotgun. And if you ever saw a muzzle, he would have just punched the shit out. But he never did see the muzzle because we were scared of getting the shit punched out of it, which is the essence of life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So all that discipline in those very exciting firearms, marksmanship, hunting awareness, mystical flight of the arrow, focus of life. I couldn't have told you this when I was young, but I learned shortly after graduating from high school in '67 that all of a sudden my dad's identity of no smoking, no drinking, even though he smoked and drank, go figure, huh? That discipline, if ever there was a guy who would have been a rebel and started shooting shit into my arm, it would have been me, except that, thank God, I saw these incredible musicians getting high and turning to lumps of shit. And I went, whoa, what my dad said is true, because I wanted to play this music so tight and so perfect, like James Brown and the Motown Funk Brothers, and all of a sudden these stoners were fucking up my music. And it was hard to wake them up, and it was hard to remind them of what the arrangement was. And we were so driven by James Brown's tightness and the way the Fabulous Flames were so on the mark musically that when you're stoned, you can't fucking do it.
Can't do it.
So my dad's pragmatism and life's discipline came into a blinding focus in my pursuit of killer music, and that bow hunting is so difficult to figure out where a deer's going to walk, and you have to learn your relationship with God's miraculous creation in order to get that sacred venison out of the pantry. That those disciplines were such a guiding force to my happiness, my fulfillment, that both hunting and music creation, it defined discipline. You can't. Now I know that Keith Richards is a rent in that works, but he at least genuflected at the altar of Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley and Little Richard and Motown. And even though I don't think he ever made a musical statement without being stoned or drunk, I knew that in my personal experience, the guys that were stoned and drunk, they wrecked the music. They were hard to get to the gig. They were hard to keep propped up. And I didn't invent fuck you, but I perfected it by '66. And if you fucked up with my music, I'm sorry, you're out of here. That's why I'm still 2019, guys, the greatest tour of my life. If we go on the road in 2020, it will be the greatest, most ferocious, fun tour of my life with Greg Smith on bass guitar.
Wow.
Jason Hartless, 23-year-old monster drummer from Detroit. That discipline brings me supreme happiness at the age of 71 and a half. Anybody that doesn't get that, good luck.
No, that's amazing that you still have that fire and passion to do it, and we do hope to see you on the road when all of this passes. You know what I'm wondering? Obviously, from anybody who's been listening, you're a big blues guy. Who would Uncle Ted's top 5 guitarists be?
Say that once again now.
I'm wondering who your top 5 guitarists would be, and I'm thinking there's a lot of blues guys in there. So,
Well, yeah, it sounds
curious.
like being Detroit, Motown.
I couldn't really give you my top 5. I could give you my 15 lists of top 5s, and right off the top of my head, I would tell you that Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley, because they invented this stuff.
Yeah, wow.
Certainly the blues gods Freddie King and B.B. King and Albert King, and how Stevie Ray Vaughan continued that emotional authority of guitar spirituality. It really goes deep into the core. It goes into your spine and then beyond into the spirit. And then the Eddie Van Halens and certainly the Billy Gibbons. And there's so many. I mean, Ricky Medlock from Leonard Skinner, and my own guitar player for years, Derek St. Holmes. I mean, these guys are just monster guitar. Joe Bonamassa, Neil Schon. I could list you. I mean, I've got to jam with Jimi Hendrix and Brian May and Joe Perry and Brad Whitford and Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai and Satriani, and oh my God, these guys are so fucking good, and Angus Young from AC.
Angus from AC.
I could go on with 1,000 guitar players that I channel all of them when I pick up my guitar, which I did just about a half an hour ago. Still turns me on like a horny kid in a garage. First amplifier, man.
That's awesome that you still have that passion.
And you're talking about precision, and that's what I hear when you're talking precision when you're playing, and you have to have a clear head. You have to be able to have that clear mind. Precision when you're shooting. I think people realize that it's one and the same. You're precise. That's why you're so tight when you shoot. That's why you can hit a moving target. But then when you play, that's why you're so crisp when you play.
There really is a parallel. There's an indistinguishable parallel. It's like literally Siamese twins.
Yeah.
Discipline and archery and guitar comfort. Even though the word comfort is a misnomer, because it's almost like you should never get comfortable. You wanna find notes that don't belong. I played notes this morning that God hasn't authorized yet. I'm milking shit out of that Gibson guitar that Les Paul had no idea you could get a permit for, which, by the way, I don't need a fucking permit. So, there's a precision, but it's actually out of body. And those are the moments, and Tonto, and you guys know this, I may be the only guy who could even reference this. When there's a perpetrator instantaneously identified, you didn't see the sights.
No, you don't. You don't.
You don't know how much pressure that trigger needs. It's out of body. It's as instinctual as I don't know, ducking around that you didn't see, but you sensed the position of the enemy's barrel, and you knew you could get away from that bullet before, and you can't get away before it gets there, but you did.
You did. No, it becomes such a habit forming movement, habitual, and that you just do it automatically. And you're right. And that's why I try to tell folks, because you do get these gun people. And I just taught a class in Oklahoma. I just got back yesterday out there. And guess what? I didn't catch the fucking virus out there around 15 people, and I didn't get sick. Shocker. Roger that. But hey, I'm out there shooting. I tell people, when we're out here shooting, you focus on your sights, that front sight focus, that red dot, whatever, reticle, because we're doing reflexive, we're doing quick fires, we're doing ready aim, ready ups, but I said, when the shit hits the fan, your eye can focus on one thing at a time. And you know what's going to focus on? That dude trying to kill you. But you've done this movement so many damn times. You practice it. You become precise from this movement that you are really catching that sight. You may not think you are, because you're going, oh shit, that dude's charging me with a gun. That guy's charging me with a knife. He wants to cut my head off with a machete. But you are coming up to that same position every time, because you've practiced correctly and you've become precise. That once you just goes into robot mode and you're doing everything correct. But if you have any sort of thing in your head where, yeah, you're unclear, you're blurry, whether it's become of artificial drugs, or you haven't been able to control your emotions yet, yeah, you're not going to see anything. In fact, and you're going to throw your shot. That's why 90%. And I love law enforcement, but there's 90%. And I'm forgive my percentage. A lot of law enforcement will miss that first shot just because they haven't trained enough. They haven't become precise.
If I can, certainly your words have iron, and I am so aware. Again, I know I'm just a guitar player, but
you shoot a lot.
There has not been a year. I'll be 72 this year. There has not been a year in my life since I was 2 where I was trained on a Red Ryder Daisy BB gun in the living room shooting clothespins. So we're talking 70 years.
Yeah.
There's never been a year I haven't handled, fired, and trained with guns. So let me put it in that perspective, if I may, as just a goofy guitar player. Whether it's Jeff Cooper, Masad Ayub, or Tonto, or Commandos, or Chesty Puller.
Chesty Puller.
I probably have introduced more non-gun people and anti-gun people into the joys of tool application, spiritual, instinctive self-defense. And you're talking, the most important thing I train them at is I give them a revolver, and I open the cylinder and I go, just here, take this. Keep the cylinder open. If I can see that muzzle, I'll punch you. Just keep the muzzle going away from any human flesh or my dogs. So just grab it. I'm not going to tell you where to hold it. You will find out where your hand fits the grip. Just fondle the motherfucker. Now, spin the cylinder. And they're always very awkward. They're uncomfortable. Now, I could keep going with all the incremental introductory steps. But by the time I'm done with them, it's at least 30 minutes. But they fondle it. They hand it back to me in a safe manner. I make them open the cylinder, find out how much pressure is needed. Leaves the cylinder. I want you to close the cylinder. Then you do that slight tweak where it locks. I want you to pull back the hammer, and don't touch the trigger yet. Pull the sights up on that target that's 10 feet away, by the way. It's a huge target. It's like an archery target, so there's no question where the sights go. And I want you to squeeze it double action. Then I want you to squeeze it single action.
Single action, yep.
Then I want you to open it up, spin the cylinder. I do that for a half an hour.
That's what you still should do. Yeah.
No ammo. Dry fire. Open mechanics, close, tweak, single action, double action, open, hand it to me. Where's the fucking muzzle? Now, after a half an hour of that, I get the lightest squib loads I can, like Action Cowboy 38 Special.
Okay.
Typically, I try to train them with a 22 revolver, but and I use CB caps, but I still make them wear ears and eyes.
Sure.
Then I'm telling you guys, from the person who was scared to death of the gun, within a half an hour, you could tell they're
loving it, aren't they? They're turned on.
They like opening that cylinder. They like spinning that cylinder. It's like pulling that gas.
I've got to ask you something on that note. One of my favorite probably TV
That's so awesome.
Was night after night, and I know you remember this, Chris. It was Piers Morgan. Every night it was an anti-gun story. You came out there and you were like, Piers, I want to take you shooting. And it was a totally different approach than what Alex Jones did of just yelling at him. You said, I want to show you the excitement of going to a range. And what was that experience like? Because that guy was on a rampage against.
You treated him like a friend. And that's how you should be on that. You did awesome, bro. I admire you because you treated him like an instructor should treat him. You gave him no reason to be a dick, and if he was going to be a dick, it was going to come off as being obvious. But you did it right. That was awesome, man.
Well, the worst thing, if you want to guarantee to create an anti-gunner, an anti-Second Amendment voter, hand them a loaded gun.
Yep.
So anyhow, that's a perfect example. Pierce Morgan, he hated guns. Anthony Bourdain, he had one of his.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yes.
I gave him a belt-fed M60.
That's right. I remember that.
But that was after I went through that whole mechanical mantra that I want you to be as comfortable with this pistol as you are with a fork and a toothbrush. I want you to instinctively know where that grip meets the top of your hand. I want you to know how that thumb naturally reaches up to that hammer. I want you to already know before I give you any ammo, how much pressure does that trigger need before the hammer drops? And you can do it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Their first rounds are insanely accurate. Because I've had them sight, I paint a picture where the front sight settles into the rear notch. And where it's supposed to be, whether 6 o'clock or a center hold. And I'm telling you, their first 5 shots are all touching each other.
They're all awesome because they're paying attention. They're actually listening. They're listening to what you have to say. They're not trying to get crazy. They're okay. What do I need to? Because they're afraid they're going to shoot.
What you witnessed on every instance was universally experienced a shit-eaten grin. They fell in love with that ignition. They love the guns. You have to be one mentally deranged numbnut not to have fun with a gun.
I call it the touch myself first time. They get that shit-eating grin. It's the same one they got the first time they touched themselves and felt good. It's that same happy grin, and I love seeing it. I had a older lady that never touched a gun. First course she came to was I was in Colorado. She does the rock thing up in the mountains in Colorado, and they I guess it gets kind of competitive, so she was getting worried, and it wasn't a revolver. She had just a Glock. She just had those striker fire guns. She couldn't manipulate the slide, so she couldn't load it, and so all day we're spending with her. She went through 3 courses over a 6-month span. By the last course that she came through, she was clearing rooms. She was dropping her mag and cleared and putting that slide forward. And I'm like, holy shit. She could have been the Delta. She could have been on Delta. I was like, and it made me feel so awesome.
Hallelujah.
Because I'm watching this lady and I'm like, holy shit. I hope nobody tries to claim her little property there on the mountain, because they're going to get their asses shot. Bad.
But I gotta tell you, we all say that nobody is the same as everybody else. There is no real equality. We're all different. We should cherish and cultivate and celebrate that difference. But let me tell you what I've experienced. And I have so many examples of this that I'm sorry that anybody that contests what I'm about to say, they're just plain wrong. In every human being is a glowing ember of a warrior. Now, there's various degrees of warriors. We're not all going to be a Marcus Luttrell or a Tom. But there is a warrior in everybody. Even the brainwashed feeble of liberal hell, there is an instinct when evil is confronting you, or more powerfully, your child. You will blow that motherfucker away. And you can't blow that motherfucker away and save your child if you don't have some experience with the tool of choice. Now, people have improvised, adapted, and overcome, and mothers have beat the shit and killed a baseball bat or a frying pan if they have to. But I'm telling you, there's an example, and here's you just identified with that gal. And it's usually, with all due respect, a little old lady who has been brainwashed that guns are evil, and if there's a gun around, you'll probably shoot yourself, and that guns are bad. And this is in New York City back in the 70s when there was thousands of murders every year, and this little shopkeeper, I think it was a deli, that Polish gal, she'd been robbed by knife point and gun point over and over again, mostly by the same fucking guys, because of the engineered recidivism. Write that down. Everywhere in America, it's engineered recidivism. The courts guarantee you will be a victim of the same perpetrator. My point is, if she went to try to buy a gun, there's no gun stores. She couldn't get in the gun store without a permit. So she goes and she says, I want to buy a gun. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't have a gun. But I am robbed. I'm afraid of being murdered or killed. She, well, I'm sorry, lady, you're not allowed to go. Well, but why? Because it's so illogical. So she went to Uncle Joe, and Uncle Joe got her a pistol. And she goes, oh, I don't like the pistol. So Joe says, well, here's how it works. Here's the trigger. She goes, okay, put that under the shelf. So she put it under the shelf in the cash register. This is a true story. And here comes that same son of a bitch with that knife, and he's going to rob her, and he's screaming at her, give me your money, you motherfucker, I'll cut your head off. And she goes, oh, no. She pulled out. She never fired the gun. She didn't like the gun. She was uncomfortable with the gun, but she knew which end the fucking bullet
came out of. Yeah.
And she shot that motherfucker 2 times, center mass. Case fucking closed.
Done.
Every time somebody goes, well, I'm all for carrying a gun, but you have to have training. Fuck you. You don't have to have training. That individual will make that determination. Is training better than no training? Duh. But I don't want to hear about somebody else's mandate that you have to have X hours of training and you have to pass some course, because that gal was the definition of uncomfortable, never touched a gun, but when her life was being threatened, she knew exactly what to do. And here's the horror of it. She was charged. She was charged with a fucking crime, and eventually she was exonerated. But that's the world we live in today. I don't need paperwork for any of my God-given individual rights. I don't need any human to claim I have a First Amendment right. I already have it, whether you like it or not. I don't need paperwork for my First Amendment rights. And I don't need fucking paperwork for my Second Amendment rights. Fuck you. They're good in all 50 states, in every city in America, and anybody that says otherwise is infringing and needs to be arrested, tried, and jailed.
Well, look, isn't it just segue into last week? My concealed carry license expired. My basic concealed carry license expired. So after all the years of carrying guns, after all the things I've done, and I'm still out there teaching, and I'm teaching some advanced tactics out there to people. I still have to go sit in a class and take my CCW 8 hours, check the box, so I can carry concealed. And I did, so I can carry concealed legally. But I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, Jesus Christ. You just want my money, dude.
I am offended that a warrior like you has to go through some fucking class. Taught the class.
That's exactly what I said.
And that's what the funny, the guy that instructed, he is awesome. He's a friend. It was fun. It was almost comical because we made it fun. And I know you're exactly, just by talking to you, I know you're like that. You make the fun. You can make, even if it's passive aggressive fun, you make it fun. He was an instructor. He knows me. We buddies. He's like, ha. He's laughing like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're in my class. We got to post this. Like, dude, let's do it. Come on, let's get this posted. And we made it fun.
Adapt and overcome. Understood.
Exactly. But I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's bullshit, but it's money. They need money. It all goes back to money. That's what it is.
Of course.
Well, I graduated from high school in '67. And I immediately went back to Detroit. I'd been gone from Detroit for 2 years. My dad was transferred. And I went back to the mighty Motor City. And gentlemen, I have never been unarmed and helpless since 1967. I have a clean handkerchief. I got a pocket knife. And once little belt tools became available, I didn't get it because I'm like a tool monger. Well, wait a minute. I'm a tool monger. I use my Gerber tool. I got to use it 20 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
I got a new Bubba clip knife. I got to pull it out 20 times a day. I don't pull out my Glock 10 millimeter 20 times a day, but I pull it out. You know, if there's a coon or a coyote. Coon and coyote.
Yeah.
And I train at the steel plate range once a day. I go through 3 mags every day.
That's great.
And I have guitar picks. I have a couple challenge coins for when I see a hero at Starbucks. I buy their coffee and I give them a challenge coin. There's certain things in life that you just have. You have to have this shit. I always got my identity on me. I have to go every 4 years and get my concealed weapons permit.
Exactly.
I always ask the guy, can you give me a First Amendment permit? I need a First Amendment permit. And it is funny. It's funny, but it's not funny.
You're just making humor so you can get through it. It's why laugh about it? No reason to get more pissed off about the absurdity. Just get it done.
I'm a happy motherfucker.
I can't tell.
I put anger on hand if I need it.
So the last thing I wanted to get into, unrelated to firearms and really just related to the current predicament we're in. As you were saying, you hope to be back on the road in 2021. It doesn't look like this 2020 tour is happening. What do you see the future of concerts and the music industry
Yeah,
being? Because there's
yeah.
already states that are opening up and they're saying, we'll have concerts, but there has to be social distancing. And it's like if you're at a Ted Nugent
What the
concert,
fuck?
you're
Yeah.
next to the
What
guy
the hell?
having a blast, and I just unfortunately, this is what it's going to be for the rest of the year. You're not going to go to a regular Ted Nugent concert in 2020, it looks like. So, what do you see it looking like when 2021 comes around? Because if there's not a vaccination or however they're going to do this, it's going to be a weird situation.
Are there even going to be concerts? If you can't get close to each other, why even have a damn concert? That's my opinion.
It's like you can't have sex and social distance, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. I got to tell you, first of all, there's always good, bad, and ugly, and we know the good, and that is that Americans are really tough. They're smart. There's a lot of protests going on, showing that we're tough and we're smart. Even though the governor of Michigan is a lying bitch,
Oh yeah.
We're automatic weapons and Nazis and Klans. What a rotten human being Gretchen Whitmer is. I mean, can you be more dishonest and treasonous than the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Michigan? These are horrible, horrible human beings. My point being is that I am so proud of the protesters. I am so proud of what happened in Virginia. I am so proud that everybody is aware that freedom isn't free and that the Concord Bridge demanded a certain response to King George's punks and that we had to meet them there and shoot them. And even though that sounds like I'm advocating violence, boy, that's not ambiguous. I know that Americans are really clever, improvise, adapt, and overcome people, and that we are going to improvise, adapt, and we're going to overcome this. Thank God in heaven we have the right commander in chief who is not a politician, who is not a bureaucrat. He's a real street shit kicker, and I believe that his clever maneuvering is going to see us through this. But here's the most egregious, bad, and ugly. The American public has never distrusted the government or media more than here in May of 2020, because they are not to be trusted, they are not to be believed, and we will follow our intellect, our historical evidence review, and we will come out of this raging economy, a wonderful quality of life. I don't know what's going to happen. It better happen before November 2020. But let me leave you with. I'll answer your question, then I'll say how we're going to accomplish this remedy. I think in 2021 I will have the greatest tour of my life, and again with Greg Smith on bass and Jason Hartless on drums and the greatest crew and the greatest guitar tone. Oh my God, my guitar! My guitar tone is like an eighth minute of angle at 1,000 yards with a 409 Shy-Tech.
That's awesome.
My guitar tone is, it will cure what ails you. If Bruce Jenner would hear my guitar tone, he'd abandon this Caitlyn thing. I promise you. So I don't know.
I don't know where that came. That's
emphatic
awesome.
I can deliver that. But here's the remedy, gentlemen. I want you to spread this everywhere you go. We got rid of the treasonous, America-hating liberals running for president in 2016, because we galvanized the conservative votes in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Those conservative votes can be best identified as licensed hunting families in America that are so apathetic and they have never voted in a meaningful number. We have a huntthevote.org. Huntthevote.org. Everybody write it down and join me there. Huntthevote.org, where we are going to recruit, register, and prod the conservative voting army in America that could win every election for God, family, country, constitutional freedom that they have not participated in meaningful numbers in the past, which is why the anti-American left has been able to make inroads. We have got nationwide, and our hero buddy Oz is a big part of this. Mark Geist and Donald Trump Jr. and some great conservative hellraisers across this country are unleashing huntthevote.org, where we will not tolerate the apathy and the irresponsible disconnect and non-participation by people who believe in God, family, country, constitution to sit on the sidelines any longer. And when we galvanize that conservative vote for God, family, country, freedom, we will win every election against those who hate America, hate God, hate family, hate country, hate the Constitution, hate hunters, hate gun owners. We will turn the tide on them at huntthevote.org, which will usher in the most ferocious, most musical authority, outrageous soundtrack to freedom in the history of noise in 2021. I promise you.
All right. Well, once again, it's tednugent.com, at Ted Nugent on Twitter, at Ted Nugent Official on Instagram. Appreciate you coming on.
Hey, bro, thank
anything
you.
else
Yeah.
before we wrap this
Yeah,
up?
bro,
This was great, man. Appreciate you giving us the full hour.
No, Ted, thank you, sir.
You know, I am so into this. I know what you guys do, and you guys represent the heart and soul of that conservative God, family, country, America. So stay on course. Now, you don't need my battle cry. I know you're going to do that because you're defiant motherfuckers. But try to galvanize anybody you know that dares to sit on the fence. Anybody you know that dares to not vote God, family, and country. The liberals don't win. We let them beat us by not participating. This is a culture war at its worst point in the history of this country. And huntthevote.org, I'm going to tell you, that's going to make the difference. So God bless you guys. Thanks for putting up with the old guitar player. But guys, everybody remain healthy and safe and secure and cocky and defiant and rocking and rolling and hopeful, because this is the greatest country in the world, and we have a great commander-in-chief, and we're going to be A-OK.
Roger that. Thanks,
Thanks
bro. It's good. It's good for having you on. I hope I get to see you again, man, just to give you a high five. Thanks, brother.
I'm looking forward to it. I'd love to shoot some
oh yeah,
taxpayer ammo. The one thing when I train with law enforcement and military, it's so much fun because it's taxpayer ammo.
Bro, I get sponsored by Fort Scott Munitions, and they give me all the ammo I need. I am blessed. That is the biggest blessing out of all this, is I get free ammo. That's everything. That's fantastic. It's awesome.
Thanks again.
Aim small,
care.
Small.
Yeah, damn right. Take care, brother.
Godspeed.
All right, there we go, man.
He is still fucking fiery as
always fired up, Ted Nugent. Awesome. I mean, I'll be honest. A lot of the stuff there at the end, I do not agree with, but it's Ted Nugent, and I let him do his thing, man. I mean, very interesting guy and great hearing.
Well, and that's the thing with he speaks his mind. That's it. Yeah, and about faith. I completely agree. God and faith, you got to have it, man. The politics, we get into politics. You're always going to get into politics with Ted. He's very strong. He's very convicted. He has a strong conviction in it. And we got no problem if there's any liberals out there that want to come on the show and get. No, I
love hearing from all different people.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll be the first to say I do not support the people. The people really. My biggest problem, I mean, of the people protesting, the people like cosplaying with guns in front of the governor's office in Michigan. I don't think that's a way to get people on your side. That would be my take on that.
I'll be honest, bro. You know how much I watch the news, and that's something we're
so that's the one thing I am not in agreement on. But I think Ted also, he addressed it at the beginning. He does realize the severity of the situation going on, and it's a weird balancing act, man, between preserving freedom and also the severity of what we're going
through.
There's
I think the Michigan, he is right. The one things I have, because you just can't get away from it, and especially with my public figure, and I'm putting quotations around that because I hate being called that. I don't like it, even though I have to. You can't get away from what the Michigan governor's doing. Yes, she is. She stepped over the line. I'll say that. She is way over the line. Mandatory, right? Mandatory quarantine. I even think your New York governor's way over the line. because you're taking those are freedoms that you're taking away.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I will say, and you already know this, and it's like I don't need to repeat it ad nauseum, but it's like, great friend of mine, right? Father passed away a few weeks ago. My friend, whose grandmother's a Holocaust survivor, just died. There's several neighbors surrounding me that just died. So
But
what's going on is I mean, it's a tough balancing act because we are halting some of those deaths by having people quarantine right now. And it is what it is.
But are we?
Absolutely.
I'm not playing
Absolutely,
devil's.
I
don't know.
No, the apex would have been, I think, much higher, and that's going by the experts. It's not going by me.
Are we having more deaths than we normally have, or are we just paying attention to the deaths
In the
now?
amount
Because
of time, yes, we are.
This is a news
Chris,
cycle.
in the amount of time, yes, and the problem is that the hospitals here are completely overwhelmed, and I can tell you, I live near a graveyard, and there's graves being dug constantly. I've actually stopped by gasoline right across from there, and just hearing from the people who work there, it's a scary time in New York, and I lived through 9/11, and I have to say this like and I truly mean this, 9/11 was a fraction of like what we're going through right now in terms of the amount of death in this period of time. So I just think people need to be aware of that, and that's my point.
I got you, bro. And you and I are always going to disagree on this until 2 years comes out and I get to see the figures again. Because I haven't seen it, and I've been out. I go out, and
you haven't been to New York. That's where
right.
it all is.
I haven't been in New York, but we've had
way more deaths than 9/11.
But New York is also the drama media capital of the world too, brother. This is something that 2 years from now we will be able to have a really good discussion because
for sure. But we've had triple the amount of deaths that were caused on 9/11. And I don't think anybody thought 9/11 was like a small thing, so it's hard for me to look at it. Not a major thing, especially when it's people I know and every day. Actually a guy Ray Muccio, who was the producer of David Webb's show, which I know you were on many times. He's now doing other work. One of his coworkers just died. Several people who went to the gym I worked at died. So it's huge here, and I don't want to understate that. And the thing that I just wanted to state about the protests, we're not the people protesting. But the people that were in front of the Michigan governor's door with guns, I just don't think is a good look for the Second Amendment or for anything.
It's not. But it puts the governors on notice. It puts state people on notice. It puts them on notice. And I've said it on a prior show too, when people were buying ammo. And I wasn't saying it as a, hey, on notice, we're going to kill you. It's, hey, on notice, dude, we're watching. People are not going to let you overstep your bounds, Governor. You're not going to start being and I think some governors have taken it as an arrogant control. I'm in charge. You do what I say sort of thing instead of being servants of the people, which is what they're voted for. And they're just following suit of what the other governors are doing instead of using their common sense. And I think the Michigan governor did do that. She did. She overstepped she's like, oh, well, what's New York doing? Well, let's just do what New York doing. Well, wait a second. New York's got what, 6-figure cases? Michigan, you've got what, 20,000? I mean, that's a huge difference. Deaths. New York has what, 25,000? I think it said. I haven't looked lately, brother. I'm guessing.
Also the numbers. I mean, the numbers were exaggerated, which we knew. But even with the exaggerations, it's an insane amount. So it is what it is, man. It's a hard thing, but I've always felt that people going to the Capitol with the gun protest with carbines, I don't think it's ever a good look as opposed to people who go there, conceal carry, and carry themselves. The way that I see people at SHOT Show, the way I see people at an NRA convention, I think it's a lot of these people. Like, do you remember those two guys who went into a Chipotle because of their gun policy with AR-15s? You just don't do that. And there's always those people that I think, just don't protest the way that makes them look good or favorable. I think we'd agree on that.
I know I would never. I wouldn't. I'd have a concealed gun if I'm going anywhere. It's always concealed anyway. So you don't. And I believe most people like myself, which there aren't very many. I'm a different animal. My wife will tell you that. But most of those that have served, that know how to carry, know how to utilize their weapons effectively.
Those are usually never people who serve. Yeah, it's usually guys who cosplay as Army.
That's what I'm saying. Is that we wouldn't. We would have it concealed. Or we wouldn't be carrying it with us. Yeah, I don't want you to see it. That's part of the deal of going out. is if I'm going out the gun, surprise, speed, violence of action. If you're addressed with a threat, that's how you want it to be. Well, if you're showing your gun and you're brandishing in that, there's the surprise right there. But again, getting back to that, I don't want you to know I have a gun. I don't want you to even bother me. I don't want you to even see me. I'm just some dude at the store. Okay, so, here, I'm gonna rob you. Here's my knife. Oh, surprise, motherfucker! Here's my gun. Leave me the hell
Yeah,
alone.
exactly.
Get away but I agree with you. You're right. But on the other end
It's
too,
just kind of crazy to me how a virus that is throughout all of the world, right? Everywhere is locked down except for I think Sweden, right? Because they're the only ones doing the herd immunity. There's maybe one or two other small countries, but every country is locked down right now. So I don't know why this should be spreading division among us. We're trying to fight a virus first and foremost.
but that's not what we're doing.
All
We're seeing politicians. We're seeing politicians put their they're overstepping. If we wanted to fight the virus, one thing, but even New York City, you had that big ass hospital ship. I don't think it was ever. That's one thing I did. It was never used.
Yeah, no, the Javits Center for sure.
Well,
But
what
it's
happened? Well, how are you guys
no,
overwhelmed then?
I agree with
if you can't even fill your beds up.
No, because the numbers were exaggerated. But here's the thing also is, for example, one of my good friends whose father died, they're not able to have a funeral, and these people are also dying by themselves in a hospital without family by their side. It's a horrible situation, no matter how you look at it. So I can't downplay that.
Right, and I'm not in New York, and all I can say is though, and then that's like I'll say you can add more to it. The last thing is just if we're talking about the Michigan thing, and that's where we're sticking it. We're talking about governors overstepping, and they are doing aggressive quarantines when it's not necessary. If you're not doing it based state by state, and you're just doing a blanket one because another city is, you're wrong. You're completely wrong.
And I entirely agree with that. And shutting down beaches and stuff where people actually can socially distance. Yeah, no, I mean we're on board with a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I say, hey, you can't go play at a park, but we're going to keep the golf courses open. What the fuck? What do you mean? Huh?
Yeah.
That don't make it.
And also, I should throw out there, man, guys, don't go by heavily edited clips of what's going on YouTube to make the case for authoritarian police, because a lot of the stuff is heavily. So here's the thing too. We're losing dozens of police in New York. Dozens of police officers have died. It's a fact. But then there's clips going around on Twitter, right, of that woman on the playground with her daughter is asked to leave, and the woman is putting up a whole thing. Yeah, and you could see the police officers probably don't even agree with this law. They're like, look, there's nothing we could do. We're just going to ask you to leave. And then this woman is like, well, then arrest me, put me in handcuffs, and then that's what they do. And she yells about being arrested, but it's not like they immediately tackled this woman to the floor and put her in handcuffs. If you ask a police officer to be arrested, it's safe to say you're going to be arrested.
And I missed it, dude. Honestly, and we don't even want to get into that with some of the law enforcement stuff that go. There's good. It goes up to the law enforcement and common sense again. With how do you enforce it? Do you enforce an executive order? Is it a law? No. It's a governor gave you an order. Is that enforceable? Not really, but kinda. But then you're a person and you're out there on a park or being in an area that they've deemed that you could get arrested here, and then you push the envelope.
I mean they weren't. The woman, they just said, hey, it's shut down. You got to leave. And at a certain point, if you're like, well, arrest me, then you're going to get arrested. If you want if you want to be like a political prisoner for a cause, you're going to be, it's the same people. Have you ever seen America, Freedom and Fascism?
I have.
Great documentary. You would probably love it. All about how the federal income tax is unconstitutional, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely love that.
So a lot of the people in that documentary, were openly saying this is unconstitutional. I'm not going to pay my federal income tax, and they end up going to jail. After this movie came out, and it's just
I did see that. Dude.
If you're out there publicly saying that, you could argue it all you want, but at a certain point, if you want to be a political prisoner over something that you think is your right, it's going to happen.
Well, then it's on you. But there's got to be a point. And actually, this is a good segue into the range. This weekend,
which I wanted to get into. For sure.
There does get a point where, again, no more. by keeping us or keeping people, and when I say us, it's not, brother. We get out. My family, we get out. I get out. I was just out this weekend teaching. Getting out and getting outside and getting some normalcy is important to being healthy as well. Where it is
100%.
that point that we continue this quarantine, because again, when all this is over and we're able to look at numbers, and I completely agree with you, don't watch the YouTube shit, don't look at all the soundbite clips, look at just watch the numbers. That is the biggest. Just watch numbers. When this is all done, I want to see how many more deaths, how many more, because if everybody was home all the time, and you can say I'm wrong. How many domestics? Did domestic violence go up? Did rape go up? Did sexual
with the people
assaults
being
go up?
home, I think, you can compare to Sweden because they're doing the herd immunity.
Yeah.
And, as Trump said, and he's right, if I would have said we're going to do herd immunity, I would have been like, people would be pissed. And I agree. People would have not have stood for it. He's right on that. So
no, you're right, brother.
It's a weird predicament. If you said no lockups, go on with life as usual, you really think that would have gone on?
You know what? Who knows? And that's things. Who knows what would have happened? That will always be the ambiguous answer. Is that we'll never know what would have happened. Really, we can have all these experts on in the world. They'll tell, this would happen, this would have happened. Well, varying opinions, but you'll never know because we didn't do that. So you're always going to have a little bit of, well, who knows if we would have had more deaths than what we did now? Well, the experts are saying that, yeah, maybe, but we didn't do it, and that will. And you'll never be able to disprove or prove that because it didn't happen. So,
we could compare to Sweden, is what we can do.
Well, we could, but again, it comes back to Sweden's. Their lifestyle is different than ours. Even just the amount of people are different. But again, what I'm saying is that we've already moved on to this direction. We're doing it. Just continue on. I'm not going to go back and what if. Well, what if we would? What if and sucks? What if and's like? All I'm saying is as we move forward, the governors and stuff have to start looking. Yes, okay. Now, are we affecting? Is what we're continually doing? Is this going to affect and make things worse? Are we going to create more problems, deaths, sicknesses that aren't the hibbity-bibbity virus, that are other things? Because we're just afraid to let people out because we still want you to be on your knees locked in your house. Where is that point that people are like, fuck this? I've had enough.
You'd be surprised, man, because I don't know if you're a fan of the guy. He is more left wing, but Bill Maher had a huge rant about it.
Actually, most of the shit when he goes crazy left, no, I can't watch. But he honestly, no, there are times where there's some common sense that sneaks through. Yeah, there's stuff that he says you're right. What do you say? I don't watch. So I don't know.
I don't. I end up seeing the highlights on Twitter and stuff on YouTube. I posted it up, but he was saying, man, that I don't know if you know, like Howie Mandel, from Deal or No Deal, and huge germaphobe. Germaphobe, never shakes anyone's hand, wears gloves for everything. And Bill Maher was saying that people are going, you know what? Howie Mandel had it right, I guess. And Bill Maher was saying, no, Howie Mandel will tell you himself. He is a severely fucked up guy. And it screwed up his social life, having to wear shoes without shoelaces that touch the ground because he's worried about it. Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to live in a society where you start dining through glass and we never go to a baseball game again. We never go to a concert again. And he's saying the whole idea of because this is a novel virus that we don't have immunity. No, most of us do. And that's why you're seeing so many people recover from it. Yeah. So, I totally agree with what he said. It kind of goes back that there's always something in the middle. And there's obviously, you and I have said it before. I'm not someone who is out there advocating that we need to reelect Donald Trump like Ted is.
Neither am I. I'm not that way either.
And I don't think it, just for me personally, right? I'll probably get flamed for it, but do I agree fully with what Governor Cuomo is doing? No. Do I agree fully with every statement Trump has made? No. And I just always think there is some solution somewhere in the middle between total shutdown and open everything up immediately. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere.
There's that common sense, and that's you're right. There's got to be, and the people will figure that out and let their prospective governors know. Either we've had the fuck enough, Michigan, or where New York cities are still okay. He could be right because we're still getting along, so we're going to hang out a little bit longer. But I know you can even feel it in New York. You're like, okay,
Oh yeah, well,
people are like,
people have been pictures like
yeah,
in Manhattan parks, man, and they're packed. Not like the photo I showed you of Coney Island where people are separated.
yeah.
And I'll be honest, like this is not saying anything derogatory. This is just an observation. They're packed with a lot of gay men, and I say that because a lot of like dudes in speedos, and it's definitely who it is, you know.
Well, maybe
So
maybe dudes just like speedos in New York. Maybe that's the new thing now. You guys are the trend fashion capital of the world. Maybe it's coming back. Maybe
and
speedos are
all
making their way back Eastern European.
and all guys gathered together.
Okay, you're right, man. That's your not the gay men
My
expertise,
expertise. I don't know about
but
that.
in New York City. but no, brother, you're right. And
Yeah, so
again, I'm glad you and I kind of disagree on this
well,
stuff
yeah,
too.
no,
Gives
I
us a
mean, it
chance to
makes
talk.
things interesting, and I could tell you exactly what you're saying is true because you were seeing more and more cars on the road,
Yeah.
and it's just people are ready for the shutdown to be over, whether the government thinks so and whether scientists think so. That's just the way it's going, and I can't speak for Omaha. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing.
No, Omaha. No, it's things. No, things are back to normal. Things are getting where more people are, but because still people, and I agree with Uncle Ted. And you and I say it all the time. Watch the bullshit news all the time. Get fucking manipulated. Look at all that shit. You still see people you see a lot of people with masks on. You see a lot of people.
Well,
What
masks
kills
are
me?
mandated here,
Well, and
so
that's the thing, it's not here, but people are going to
yeah.
do it. And I honestly, I think it's because that's the cool thing to do. Everybody has one on social media now. Everybody has, and New York, you have to. Some states you have to, but
And
the
could
states
I
you
just throw
don't.
this out there?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I see all these ads for all these like cute looking masks.
Yes. Yes.
I could tell you in New York, people are just not enjoying this. So we don't no, I don't see anyone with the cute masks
With the
here.
cute
They're just
masks
wearing
on.
the regular medical masks. And I could tell you the first few weeks of coronavirus, it was actually an attitude here of we're all in this together, people having great conversations, and it's gotten more
And
to that like
now,
angry New Yorker point of like we're fed up with it.
we're and hey, Governor Cuomo, you better pay attention to that shit, dude, because you have a lot of people in a small area, and if they decided to have enough, there ain't nothing that's going to stop them. And I'm not, again, not advocating violence, but New Yorkers, yeah, we've had enough, and that's fine. That's the decision they should make, and if they do that, believe me, I'll talk on the show. I won't disagree with y'all. Be like, yeah, you guys have fucking had enough of this shit. Get back out, because I see how it affects you personally. You and I, I can tell with you just by your pictures. You just tell in your face. You're like, man, you're not happy. You're not as happy as you
No, not
usually
at all.
are. Just as you.
I No,
And
it's true, and it's almost like I'm tired of even talking about the
yeah.
subject. 'Cause it's
Okay, let's move on.
all
Let's move on.
it's
Let's move on.
all
Let's move
anyone
on.
is talking. Yeah, no, we will. But you know what I could tell you, man, is that episode with Christoph actually motivated me a little bit recently because
Good.
I totally fell off my whole thing, and just a change in regimen really screws things up sometimes, and you have to make a new
Yeah.
regimen.
Yeah.
And that's why this morning I woke up, I went for a run. But all the bad news, it is keeping me from sleeping and all that. And it's a tough time in America, and we're doing what we
Well,
can, man. And
I think this episode with Ted is great, because he's that's the mindset. That's the mindset of a guy of a man that grew up with a dad that went through a lot of shit, a veteran, and it's the mindset I have with my kids. Even though that's why I was asking him, because my son probably feels like Ted felt with his dad with my 50-year-old, but it's like, hey, suck it the fuck up, suck it up, let's keep moving. I mean, there's still empathy there's still, but it's like, no, fuck, get up, deal with it, handle it, work it, and then that it resonates down the line to becoming a hard worker, and to have common sense, but don't live on your knees, man. You provide. You need to figure it out, figure a way to overcome this bullshit. And I think a lot of people, I think people are, but I think there's some now that are still really, and that's the TV, brother. That's the media. That is the media and the TV that got in the box. It encourages people to just stay on their knees because, or the constant YouTube videos, that kind of shit. So that's why you and I both preach, like, turn that shit off. Just turn it off and get up off your knees, and then you know what? If you're worried about going out, well, you're making that conscious decision. You're not letting somebody make it on the TV for you.
Sure.
So, yeah, but bro, I know you and I are no. I'll let you have the last word. I had the last word there. You
No,
have the last word
there's nothing else to say about it, man. You know what I wanted to ask you about though? I will say this. So I was looking at the videos from Battleline Tactical of you
Oh
on
yeah,
this
yeah,
last course
yeah. It's awesome.
in Oklahoma,
It's
and I
awesome.
just have to say, I'm a firearms owner. I am by no means an expert. And not only a civilian, but I'm nothing like Ted Nugent who grew up with guns or anything like that. But I could just tell you, watching you, man, who instruct people, that is where you shine. You were born to do that, and you're great at it. And I could just tell your expertise and the way you make it fun and teach these people about how to handle themselves in different scenarios. It's just awesome to watch.
Yeah, this thanks, man. I appreciate. I still can't stand watching myself teach because like God, I wish I would have said because I self critique so damn much. But we had that home defense course, which really it is. It's a basic home defense. I'm not going to teach you how to clear rooms as a team. But you're going to learn the basics. But really, what you're getting the confidence of being able to acquire targets quickly. Because if you're in a home defense situation, you have to acquire a target quickly. You have to, and I tell it to them simply, guys. I'm like, I'm not going to play this down and have you the right things to say. You're there to kill that threat, to kill that intruder, because they're trying to kill your family. So let's put this in perspective. Let's get your mindset right now. It's not to stop a threat. Now, tell the lawyer, you tell law. I'm there to stop the threat. Law enforcement will tell you the same damn thing, but you're there to kill that person. So you got to get that mindset already. So that means if you can leave, get out, because it's hard to live with that on your head for the rest of your life, that you took somebody's life. So the first thing we teach them is like, hey, get out of the room. If you can leave with your family's safety without having an altercation, that's the first step. Get out. Don't get in the fight if you don't have to. But if you do, you have to be effective. And also we said, you live in just think if that happened in your apartment. If you miss, how many rooms is that bullet going to go through? And you could hit up, down, left, right. And guess what? The judge doesn't give a shit if you were right or wrong, because if you shot and you killed that intruder, you were in the right to defend yourself, but then that stray bullet went through 3 walls and killed that little girl in her bed, you're still going to prison. And if you don't, you're going to get a civil lawsuit and you're going to lose all your life. And look at OJ. I mean, he definitely killed his wife in gold, but he got off free, but then his civil lawsuit. But what we're trying to say is that if you have to, you need to be effective. You need to address the threat quickly, but you also need to hit what you're shooting at, because you are responsible for those rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what you're missing now that you're not on Twitter because you mentioned it?
Oh,
OJ Simpson's Twitter is
oh
insane.
Lord, you have to send me some of that. That's just
he does videos about like different things. So like he's been talking about that Tiger King series.
Oh Lord,
he said like Carol Baskin definitely murdered her husband, made him into tiger sashimi.
She did.
And then like early on with this whole virus, he was like, if you guys close golf courses, I'm gonna go nuts. Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean? Did somebody tweet back? I would have. I would have been like, what do you mean going to go nuts? That's how I had to put it.
So many people. Yeah, I think he even said in the Carol Baskin video, he's like, yeah, she murdered her husband, and I would know.
Oh Lord. Can you? Is that what he said? And I would know. And I would know. Or somebody, you should have said that for the Battleline podcast. Yep, you would know.
I think he really said it. I mean, he's the guy who made that book and then documentary or interview. If I did it, this is how I would do it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Oh Lord, see, that's just people are crazy like that. All right, wait, guys.
You know what I wanted to say though before we wrap things up? Yeah. You said it in a recent episode, because I was just thinking about this. How you were saying people that are working at Target and Walmart and all those keeping the country together.
Amazing.
Beyond just the nurse. You know what I was thinking? I don't think you mentioned it, and I know you feel the same way. I just haven't. I don't know why we haven't, but because I just see it every day, man. The truck drivers. If it wasn't for the truck drivers, I mean, unless you're Ted Nugent and you were completely self-reliant, I don't know what people would do.
Yeah, the truck drivers, the long haulers, and even your FedEx guys, your Amazon driver. I mean, even the guys, they're keeping the country going and strong. The first responders, the healthcare professionals, of course, you're getting, and you should get your kudos. But those are people that have kept this country going. Nobody. It's not the politicians. It's those guys out there every day driving to work. And they, people. And that's what's beautiful though too, is that all of them are hiring. So they're giving opportunities for people to get out if you haven't been working, to go get a job, but to go get your maybe go get your CDL license, or to work for FedEx or Amazon or UPS, which are tremendous companies, that to work for. Hey, it's hard work. You're going to probably start in the loading dock to begin with, but it gives people opportunities for jobs, and it also keeps money going within the country, which is what we need. And to be honest, if you look, Ted got into a little bit. We talked about stocks and things. Stocks actually rebounded. If you look at the stocks, they've actually done a 180 in the last few days. Actually, my retirement, I didn't lose that much. I thought I was going to lose my ass. Honestly, I think it came back. I lost 15 grand, and 13 of it came back.
But you do have to wonder the long-term
ramifications,
because some of that is bailout money.
It'll turn. Yeah, it'll fluctuate. No, you're right, bro. It'll fluctuate.
The national debt, as we all know, it's insane. And then who is all this money owed to? China.
But you know what? That thing is getting back is the people. They have kept money facilitating in the economy and going. People are still buying stuff, which is important. I hate to say it, I know you need to save your, and I do too. You got to be a little bit more frivolous with your money, but you still need to put money back in our economy, or our economy will fail.
I think you meant frugal there.
Frugal? Did I say frivolous or frugal?
Yeah.
God damn it! I really need my money back for that master's degree, dude. It did me no fucking good. You got to be more frugal with your money, not frivolous, unless you're Bill Gates and you have billions of money. You can do whatever you want. But you have to be more frugal. Thank you so much. But then again, that being said too, Andy, I didn't talk about it. I just want to say to the people that did come to the course at Battleline, and I'm switching gears, but it was awesome. They did tremendous. People there having a good time, and you could just tell they were
Gary
ready.
Brugman. Gary Brugman.
Gary was,
right?
Gary was. He was one of he when he comes, he's one of my assistant instructors there, and he helps out with the training and he helps out with the setup. That's what's wonderful about Gary is Gary's one of those guys that could be arrogant if he wanted to, and he doesn't. He comes and he says, "Hey, man, what do you need me to do?" And he's not too proud to go set up targets for him. He's like, "Dude, can you go set up targets? Can you go? I need you to go get I need you because we didn't get them done yet to go get the search done." It's like, whatever you need, brother. And he could be told like, "What the fuck? What do you mean? I'm Gary Brugman. I don't have to do that shit." Like, no, dude. That's what's awesome. He's just a genuinely nice guy. He's talented. He has seen his plenty of action as the Border Patrol, and he was on drug interdiction within the Coast Guard, which they do good stuff. But he's out there just to work. And you know what? He said something to me, and I know a lot of the people felt this way, but he said it to me directly. He goes, "You know what? Today I feel useful." That was awesome because people are actually out doing stuff, feeling like they're working, feeling like they're accomplishing something, and that made the world to me. I'm like, bro, that makes me feel good. That because really to me, I'm like, all I'm really doing is having you do menial stuff as an assistant instructor just to help me set up the ranges. He goes, bro, this was so good for me because it made me feel useful again. I'm like, you know what? That's awesome.
That's great.
And the people there, you could just tell they were having fun and they were out there shooting. And it was the home defense it can be intense. We're doing a lot of rapid firing. You have to be safe. A lot of turning and acquiring targets and moving quickly because that's what's got to happen. Everybody, just like Ted said, it was like they all shot for the first time, even though these all were pretty good shooters. They all were just smiling. And the girl you see on there, Jennifer, she's never going to say anything. We never say anything in the course. She's a regular. She's been a Battleline alumni since she first started shooting. When we were at Palm Bay out there at Israel Matos' place and Bill Orndorff's place. She's a double amputee. You'd never know it. The girl out there has no legs, and she's out there clearing rooms. She's out there shooting. She actually drove all the way from Florida to come to the course.
Wow.
She rented a car. When people tell me, and she went to a Florida course where she was running up and down 100 meters because I was doing stress fires with them. We never say anything, but she is tremendous. So if people think that they're having bad days and problems, I want you to look at that Jennifer girl. Watch what she does. Look at her, and I find myself getting strength just watching her because I feel like, man, this sucks today. Holy shit, she's out here running around shooting with no legs. I'm like, yeah, my day's not so bad. And she's always smiling. And she drove what is it, from Florida? What's that? 12 hours just to come to the course. And she's and her improvements from day one on to now, where she couldn't even hit the target the first few rounds we were shooting till now she's clearing rooms, and it's amazing. So yeah, it was a great course, and we'll have another Battleline course here coming up. Hopefully the one in Chicago doesn't get canceled. We're going to continue with that one on. And Ian, get out there, man. Get in the car, get out and drive. You don't have to pay for nothing. Get out here and get.
If there's somewhere, all right. If there's somewhere in the somewhat in this region, I'm there, man. But no, and also I should say, I assume Gary Brugman's son is fully recovered. If Gary was out there, so that's good.
Well, and that's another thing is that we talked about. Gary said, "Yeah, my son got," and he got the COVID, and I was like, "Well, the COVID." And then he says, "Well, he got pneumonia in his left lung." Well, and I gave him a little shit. I said, "Well, Gary, was it the COVID or was it pneumonia?" But then we laughed because me, I'm being that patronizing motherfucker, because I'm still skeptical. But that being said, yeah, he did full recovery, and that's a good thing. So for you out there, if you're worried, yeah, you might get sick. And right now it's allergy season. It is flu season right now. You might get sick. But just do what you have to do and you will recover. Stay positive. Don't panic. I think a lot of this too with the news causes people to panic. If you get sick, like, oh shit, I'm going to die. No, you're not. Just don't panic. Get through it. Your immune system will fight you through it. And just, like you would even if you had the flu. Quarantine yourself in your room. I do the same. I have kids. I don't want them to get sick, whether I have the COVID or the hibbity bibbity or the flu. I'm staying in my room and you'll get through it. And again, that's a positive story from what's going on right now. That he was fine. Yeah, it took him 3 weeks to get through it, but he's fine. And yeah, Gary said he's up and down like it never happened. So
and didn't Gary also recently have neck surgery?
Yeah, he was out there with his neck brace too. He's getting over it. He was out there moving around, and he's just he's doing his therapy. So he's out there with neck surgery. He actually had neck surgery and he had knee surgery, and he's out there too. So there's a lot of tough people out there. I wasn't one of them. I was perfectly fine. I'm perfectly healthy. Well, my back was out from cleaning my toilet, but that's not surgery or the hibbity bibbity virus. That's just me getting old. But yeah, they're out there busting their ass, dude. And actually, I recommend people look at the Battleline Tactical page and yeah, bro, we have fun, and we're completely unintimidating environment. A couple guys came in from Omaha. We actually had a new shooter there that had shot very little, but I started calling him Shine because he was like the damn prodigy. He's like shit. He's after about 30 rounds, he's already got it. And I always tell people that too. Tactical shooting, moving and shooting, or just shooting in general. It's not that hard. Us tactical guys like to make it sound cooler than what it really is. It's not that hard to do. But if you take it seriously and you have, you just have some common sense and you have some coordination, bro, you can become quite accurate within a day. And as long as you're safe with the gun, we're going to keep you on the course. And he was tremendous. He did awesome. The dude was keyhole and headshots day 2. And he was using somebody else's rifle because he didn't have his own. And it was like, wow. So it was fun. It was a great course. The last course in Oklahoma was awful at Iron Gal Farms. We had some unmotivated people that really didn't need to come. I don't even know why they did.
If they're listening to the podcast, that's some harsh criticism.
Well, and if they and I'll criticize, and I'll even give you more criticism. They were law enforcement guys. I don't even know why the fuck they were there, sitting there on their phones. Terrible. I was like, guys, I don't even know why the hell you're here. But this course here and Iron Gal Farms, the range, Eddie Ranji's place is awesome, great place to go train, and he has a good shop with good gear in it. But this course, these 10 people, we did have some law enforcement. I had 2 firefighters in there that were, in fact, one was that prodigy guy. 2 firefighters in there that were awesome. And one's a regular. He usually comes to courses in Oklahoma. And then, we had Jen, and then we had people that just like to shoot. And we had two guys come in from Omaha that just like to shoot. It was awesome. It was a blast. It was one of the best courses we've had in a long time. And that being said, I finally, it took me to get my mojo back, to get back in the mindset of being an instructor like I was always when I was with GRS, or when I was instructing with Blackwater, or I was going overseas and instructing the Afghanis on Makarovs and AK-47s and PKMs, and then rolling out with them, even RPGs. I had to get out of that mindset these last 6 months now that I've pretty much taken over Battleline, as I should have been running it on my own again. Ben Morgan helps me out from Morgan Timing System, which he's a tremendous instructor. So it's been a gossip of me just taking the lead. Finally back in the flow of being a feeling, because there's a flow you got to get to be an instructor. And I'm back into it again, and I'm having fun again. And that I'm glad you said. I'm glad it's showing in the videos, because I think if you compared them to the videos 2 years ago where I was instructing, you could see that I just wanted to get it over with, just because I was gone and I was just miserable. And it wasn't because of the instruction. It wasn't because of the classes, just because I was gone all the time. I was just miserable. Now I'm having fun again, and I enjoyed it. It was awesome, man.
That's great, man. Striking that balance. So hope you guys really enjoyed this. We loved having Ted Nugent on.
Yes.
If I have that much energy in my 70s, that'll be great. And yeah, today's show is sponsored by patchops.com, an official licensed partner of Chris Peranto, KPI LLC, and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals. The quality of their products will blow you away. So do us a favor and go to Patch Ops on Facebook and Twitter, Patch Operations on Instagram. Patch Ops is family owned and operated by Marine Corps veteran Tim Hickey and his wife Michelle. Tim actually served in the same infantry unit as TIG, which is 3-7, and their company focuses on supplying the highest quality morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas from concept to reality and create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd. So please go check them out at patchops.com. Grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today. Use code BATTLELINE, one word, for 15% off your next order on patchops.com. And yeah, our audience has been loving them. I've been seeing all the different patches people have gotten, from Battleline stuff to Trump 2020 stuff. So yeah, check it out. Patch Ops morale patches designed for the hardcore. Love what Tim does, and just also the packaging of, like I said, putting in those crayons and everything
crayons.
as that joke, and the flyer in there to tag everything on Instagram. Tim is definitely doing a great job of getting that social media presence out there.
And tremendous individual, and the patches speak for themselves, man. You'll see once you get them, and check out his website. You'll see all the craziness he's got, all the being a Marine, of course, he's politically incorrect, and as he should be, and I respect that, because I am too. And get on there and find something. If you can't find something, contact him. He'll design it for you, and you'll be happy with the product.
Yeah, and he designs stuff so fast.
I know. It is. It is, and he is a huge supporter, being a veteran himself. Huge supporter of veterans. I mean, my 14th hour patches, he just sends them to me because he knows that the money that we have for 14th hour, I don't take a salary. My wife doesn't take a salary, so any expenditures that we have are coming out of the donations, and we want to keep them low. And that being said, guys out there getting into patch, I know we're going to finish with the Patch Ops read, but if you're any veterans or law enforcement or first responders that are having issues right now during these tight times, please check out my 14th Hour Foundation, and we've got money in there to help you out, pay your bills. So I just want to put that up there. So please, guys, 14th Hour Foundation, that's my foundation. My wife runs it. It's her foundation, but it's my name on it. But if you're having issues, guys, first responders, contractors, military contractors, security contractors, and then of course military, active, and veterans, if you're having issues, please look at 14th Hour Foundation, and we've got some money in there to help out with bills. So definitely.
All right, well, you got to throw out the website or email.
Yeah, actually, just go ahead and search 14th Hour Foundation, and when you search that, it will come up. If you do 14thhour.com, Lancome comes up. They bought the website, so you're gonna get makeup. You're gonna get the makeups, the base makeup from Lancome. Yeah, brother. And Patch Ops, thank you so much, because they are a huge sponsor of the 14th Hour Foundation as well, and help out.
Well said, man. And once again, Fort Scott Munitions is what you were using this past weekend on the range. Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com, FortScottMunitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions, who's been with us since the beginning, is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. Can't speak more highly of those guys. And should I say who we have coming on next episode, or leave that?
Let's leave that, because we don't want to jinx ourselves. And hey, for all those out there that had Tano's toolbox, talk to Maximum Defense, who fabricates those and makes those for me. Paul Baron over there, tremendous guy from SIG Academy. All you gun shooters out there should know who Paul Baron's name is, because he was an instructor at SIG Academy, but now he's working with Maximum Defense, a good friend of mine, tremendous instructor in his own right. Those that are going to get out this week. So still got 30 Tano's toolboxes left. Actually, I'm sorry, 29, but we'll continue to push those. And you're going to see pictures of me training and teaching with that Tano's toolbox. That's one of the guns I brought. I brought two of them. The 300 Blackout with the one that's all colored up, has a nice brace on it, little thing, 7.5-inch barrel. That's Tano's toolbox. And I threw another good close to 600-700 rounds down through that thing. No problems at all with it. It's a tremendous little gun. So all you guys that orders, though, your orders will be getting out at the end of this week. That's Paul assured me. And man, thank you guys so much for purchasing the toolbox, but also thank you for supporting myself and Ian and Battleline Podcast, Battleline Tactical, and everything. It's just amazing, man. Tremendous. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
And we've got T-shirts available. So I'll
put the T-shirts. Pitch the T-shirts. No, those are awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, they're great. I've got mine in green and red. I'll put a link in the description for this episode. But they came out great, and I've been rocking them.
Next, and guys, if you know what those of you out there, they're the next level. You know, that soft contour fitting. That's what they are. The good T-shirts. That's that everybody uses that next level brand. So if you want to know the quality, if you're unsure, because I don't think it says on the website or on the purchase side on the Tano Apparel or Battleline site what they're made out of. People have asked me what kind are they, what kind of shirts. I know what you're talking about. It's that next level brand, that nice soft contour fitting that damn near every good T-shirt's made out of. Next Level. Should have bought stock in Next Level when they first started 5 years ago. And last, because you're going to cut out here, I'm going to let you finish, but I do want to say thanks to Ted Nugent. To me, this was awesome, because having Uncle Ted on, some guy that I grew up with, again, idolized. And I don't say that, because I don't idolize anybody, really. But as a youngster, I did. And then having him on and him being 2A, being outspoken, still fiery as hell at 71, and saying what's on his mind, who gives a shit what you think about him. That's kind of where I think I got a little bit of that in me growing up. I admire that. I admire that. I really want to thank him coming on, and just his talk about being precise and practicing and hard work, how it resonates in everything you do. Again, it just validates what we say every week, Ian. Work your ass off. Fucking work hard, train hard, take pride in your work, and you're going to become good at whatever you do, and you're going to be successful. And he is. And he can. That's why he can be outspoken and say, you know what, F you. I don't care what you think about me. It's because he's so good at what he does. You're going to want to hear him or be a part or listen to him or learn from him anyway, because you're going to get over what he's saying. I like what he says. But if you don't, you're still going to be like, man, he's still good. I wonder how he got that good. So
he's one of the best guitar players ever.
Oh, dude, one of the best, if not the best. No, you're right on. You're right on.
That's all for this episode of Battleline Podcast. But we have new shows up every Monday and Friday, so make sure you're subscribed. And keep up with the show 24/7 on Facebook and Instagram at Battleline Podcast. Also on Twitter at Battleline Pod. As always, never quit.